Tracy Edwards, 32 years old. He was at the bar that night with his friends. That's the night that he met Jeffrey Dahmer. They had seen Dahmer in there many times before. He was always offering to buy them drinks, and he would. He was a regular. You couldn't miss him. Blonde hair, blue eyes, in a social setting where there were more or less minorities. Tracy and Dahmer would patronize this club called 219 Club. It was a place for gay men. They would go meet. It was also well known for their drag queen shows, according to the Wisconsin LGBT History Project. Dahmer would approach Tracy and two other men on that particular night. He offered them $100 if they wanted to go back to his apartment, pose nude, take a few Polaroids, have a few beers, maybe watch a movie, and just keep each other company. Tracy thought about it and he agreed to go. He could really use the money. He was going to play it by ear when he got there. He didn't know really if he was going to pose nude. Dahmer had given the other two men his address in case they changed their minds later and they wanted to come along. Tracy would find out later that Dahmer had given the wrong address to the other men. Tracy and Dahmer went to the Oxford Apartments, located at 924 North 25th Street, apartment 213. As soon as the men entered the apartment, Tracy noticed the foul smell inside. Dahmer had a laundry list of excuses of why it smelled that way. It was the fish tank. It needed cleaning. Pipes had busted and backed up in the bathroom. His refrigerator was on the brink, and it was spoiled meat. The two men were in Dahmer's living room. Dahmer had given Tracy a pre-made laced rum and coke. I don't know whether or not he sipped on it, but Tracy really was not at ease. As the men sat on the sofa, Tracy looked around at that so-called smelly fish tank. He saw acid and boxes of brick cleaning supplies. Dahmer really wasn't acting himself. He actually said sometimes he would act like Jeff, the guy he met at the bar, friendly and nice, and other times he said his facial features even changed. He hummed incoherently and he rocked back and forth. Tracy knew that he had made a very bad idea by going back with Dahmer to his apartment. He had managed to take handcuffs and put it on one of Tracy's arms. Now, Tracy really didn't know what was going on, but he knew that he had to be calm. Dahmer escorted him into the bedroom. He said he wanted to take the pictures, so Tracy went, still with that one handcuff wrapped around his wrist. Inside Dahmer's bedroom, the smell was even stronger. There was a 57-pound vat that was in the corner of his room. There was a huge blood stain on his mattress. Dahmer told Tracy that he didn't want to take the handcuffs on because he didn't want him to leave him. Tracy told him that he wasn't going to leave him, and he really was going to take the pictures. As the foul smell crept through Tracy's nose, he knew that he had to do something. Tracy knew that he had made the wrong move by coming here with Dahmer. Dahmer had asked him to lay on the floor, and Tracy did as such. Dahmer placed his head on Tracy's chest. Tracy asked him, "What was you doing?" He told him that he was listening to his heart because he planned to eat it. Tracy did not want to do anything to make Dahmer react more strange and incoherent. Dahmer's mood swings would change back and forth. He was really scared at this time. He actually told Tracy that, quote, "Either you're going to kill me or I'm going to kill you," end quote. Dahmer actually loosened up a bit and he let his hand off of the loose handcuff. Tracy knew that this was going to be the time that he had to save his own life. He said Dahmer had seemed spaced out. He managed to angle himself and he would punch Dahmer so hard, knocking him down. As Tracy ran towards the apartment door, he said that God had to be with him because Dahmer had 8 locks on that apartment door. And he had picked just the right one to unlock and let him out of the apartment. As he ran out, he screamed at the top of his lungs for anyone to help him, eventually flagging down a police car. I remember the stories in the past. It said that he was naked. Stories now depict that he was half naked, but he escaped. It would be 2 officers that Tracy was able to flag down, Officer Rolfe and Officer Muller. They escorted Tracy back to Dahmer's apartment. Police noticed that same foul smell. The police told Dahmer to get the key to unlock Tracy. As he went inside the bedroom to get it, the police noticed several weapons strewn around the apartment. There was also a drawer that was already open and Muller glanced inside. There were 70 Polaroids of naked men, dead bodies in various stages of dismemberment and decomposing. Dahmer was immediately handcuffed and arrested. Inside his apartment were 2 full skeletons, body parts wrapped in the refrigerator, jars full of male genitalia, 2 full heads, and a drum filled with acid. Dahmer would even boast later that he even brought a head of the victim to work. He placed it inside a bag and put it in his locker. He wanted that person to always be with him. This was 13 years in the making. He felt that there was no stopping him. He was invincible. Especially after you drug and a 14-year-old runs naked and bleeding from his anus. And the police brings him back to a 30-something-year-old man's apartment. And Dahmer finishes him off. After you already been jailed previously for molesting another child, if my memory serves me correct, it also was a child that had sexual dealings with the 14-year-old brother. You may start to think that you are unstoppable. Tracy would be the one to end this 13 years of torture from 1978 to 1991, sodomy, necrophilia, cannibalism. But he would not know that all this was going on in that apartment until later. Tracy was targeted by Dahmer like the others. The one that he likes to call the beautiful people. Tracy was supposed to be the 18th victim. It was hard to believe Dahmer was so nice. That's what Tracy said. Tracy had backlash. He said he was not gay, even though he was at a gay bar and going to take pictures naked of men, but that's his story to tell. Dahmer said he went for any man as long as they were beautiful. We do know that you don't have to be gay to be at a gay club. And remember, Tracy really needed the money. Tracy's testimony would of course put Dahmer away for 900 years, 16 life sentences. I think without that testimony, Dahmer would have still been put away forever. So, Tracy was a lucky one, the last one, the one that was able to live to tell the story. But he didn't want to tell the story. He wanted it to go away. When he spoke about it, it made it real. And oh, it was very real. Tracy referred to Dahmer as the devil, and he hated the day that he met him. But he should be glad, right? That he's living? But what kind of living did Tracy Edwards have? It was hard. It has been extremely hard for him to get his life together after Dahmer. After he instantly became famous, his face was everywhere. Tracy was actually a wanted man himself. Police would extradite him back to Mississippi, where he had to face charges of sexual battery against a 14-year-old girl. And that occurred before his run-ins with Dahmer. That was all that was said on the matter. He also may have fathered up to 6 children. I know at one time he was arrested for owing child support. Now, his younger days, he was a good-looking man, so I wouldn't doubt he has several children out there. He would continue to have battles with substance abuse, homelessness since 2002, moving from shelters to shelters, never coping and getting help with his trauma and everything that he had been through. Tracy had been arrested for things such as the possession of drugs, damage to property, and on July 26, 2011, Tracy was accused of helping a felon, Timothy Carr, 44, throw a man off the Milwaukee Bridge. That man's name was Johnny Jordan. He was 43 years old. Jordan was arguing with Carr and Tracy. Tracy was 52 years old at this time. According to the Associated Press, Carr had jumped in to save Jordan after Carr and Tracy had thrown Carr off the bridge head first into the water. Tracy stayed on the riverbank. When the rescue crew arrived, a life ring was thrown and Jordan had went under, and only Carr was able to be saved. So that was a pretty bad situation, and yes, Tracy Edwards was involved in that. He was sentenced to 18 months, and when he was released, extended 2 years supervision. Tracy never received counseling for everything that he endured. The only thing he ever did was drugs, alcohol. That was his self-medication. And as of 2022, Tracy Edwards is 66 years old. His current whereabouts are unknown to the public. With all the hype about this documentary called Monster, hopefully he'll come out and get the help that he needs. It's never too late.